San Antonio at 35%, just 16 of 46 shooting. And the Lakers at 54%. They've hit 19 of 35. Lakers doing it at the foul line, 6 of 7. Again, San Antonio having problems at the line, just 2 of 7. Laker bench outscoring the Spurs bench 11-5. And the result, Lakers by 9 as we get ready for the start of play in the third quarter. Let's go to Craig Sager.
Well, Greg Popovich decided to go with the same starting five that started the game. As for Manu Ginobili, we will see him come off the bench here in the third quarter. He does want to play despite that jammed ankle, but Popovich does not know what he's going to get out of him. Apparently, if he goes in and is not effective, we may see him come out of the game right away, shut down, and rest for game 3.
All right, Craig, Manu playing with the jammed left ankle, and also, as we mentioned earlier in the series against the Hornets, he ripped a nail on his finger on his shooting hand, and an acrylic cover is protecting it. Spurs have had all kinds of trouble away from home in the third quarter. Their best third quarter, although they did not shoot well, was Game 7 in New Orleans when they outscored the Hornets 20-12.
Well, when you look at the third quarter the other night, Marvin, Game 1, you'd say, well, the Lakers only outscored them 22-21. But at one point in time, they were up 20, so they cut that lead from 20-7 going into the fourth quarter, made it a more working margin. But, Marv, I'm thinking Parker and Duncan, they've got to be the two guys. They've got to take 20, 25 shots each in this game. I mean, Duncan has got to go to work inside against the Lakers. He can score any time he wants to in there as Finley starts out with the jump shot. But Duncan has got to go to work inside and throw up a 30-point night. And
Michael Finley has shown some signs. 3 of 7 now. He has 8 points. Here is Gasol. Rebounded by Duncan. Now Gasol has not been able to get into it. 2 of 7 from the field. Finley. Rebound comes to Bryant.
I talked to Derek Fisher right before the half was over, this half was starting, and he said, we've got to come out the first 5 minutes. We can't be flat like we were the other nights. And I think Kobe Bryant recognizes that is going to go to work. He said the first 5 minutes of this quarter is going to be so important for the Lakers.
15 points for Bryant. Parker leads the Spurs with 11. Duncan has 10, along with 13 rebounds. Parker getting into the lane. Nice feed for Alberto.
Now, good things happen again, Marv. Anytime those Spurs guards get in the lane, you get easy baskets by Alberto. You open up the three-point shooting, and the Lakers have done a nice job closing down that paint.
Bryant again.
Feeling the game. What he talked about, I want to feel the game, and knowing that this first 5 minutes is so important, he's coming out looking to score.
And the word decoy has not entered into the conversation tonight when you're talking Kobe Bryant. Traveling violation on Parker.
Got to stay off that sideline if you're the Spurs guards. Those big men from the Lakers are trapping and finding it, making it so difficult for the Spurs guards to get out of the corners.
Lakers have not lost here at home since back on March 28th. As it turns out, they lost to the Memphis Grizzlies. And going back to the regular season, Lakers have won 17 of the last 20 here at home. They're 6 for 6 at home in the playoffs. Bryant on fire. It counts, and the foul committed by Bowen.
Man is so talented. You know, Marvin, in game 1, you know, maybe Michael Jordan, and I've seen it so many times, has the capability of being able to just feel the game out and then go to work and feel like he can score whenever he wants to. The hand in the face by Bowen, the foul, the three-point play opportunity. But, Marv, the ability to throw the switch and go from being passer and facilitator and getting your teammates involved to then score 25 points in the second half. That's incredible talent.
And Kobe with all 7 Laker points at the start of this third quarter. He's hit 3 of 3 from the field. Lakers have opened up a 12-point lead. Parker. Rebound comes to Odom. Spurs get back. Fisher with a nice pass. Odom banks it. Greg Popovich wants to talk.
Well, the Lakers got Bill Jackson's halftime message. First 5 minutes, they've gotten off to a great start here. And the Spurs struggling to score, and now the Lakers in an offensive rhythm. It's going to be a tough uphill battle.
And for tonight's In the City, presented by Dodge, our all-new 2009 Dodge Journey is cruising through the streets of Los Angeles. On a run here by the Lakers. In the last couple of minutes of the first half, this was a tie game at 37 apiece. Since then, the Lakers have outscored the Spurs 18-4. With a 9-4 spurt to open up this third quarter. Roberto, and that shot deflected.
See, Lamar Odom is not worried about Alberto. He's coming over and sort of playing a one-man zone inside to help out Gasol.
Fisher. And this Laker onslaught continues. Here's Ginobili racing down. He gets the call, yes, and the foul. And for Manu Ginobili, his first field goal.
Marv, I want to talk a little bit about the impact of that Game 1 loss the other night as we see Fisher here pull up and knock down this jump shot. Fish has really bounced back tonight after the 1-for-9 game in Game 1. He has 11 points. And here's Ginobili finally with a finish and a chance for a three-point play. But Marv, had the Spurs won that game the other night to take back home court, Greg Popovich might have set Ginobili out tonight. I mean, you don't want to give a game away, but if you can get him 3 days rest and then go home for 2 home games, that's what that game did the other night to the Spurs, making this a must-win game.
Radmanovich on the drive. And in this type of series where you're playing every other day, it is very difficult when you have a player like Ginobili who's worn down and is playing hurt. It's difficult to get in rest time. There's Parker getting inside. The series resumes Sunday night. Game 3 at San Antonio, starting at 8:30 Eastern time right here on TNT. So a travel day tomorrow, Game 3 Sunday. They'll stay in San Antonio, have a day off, Game 4 Tuesday night. And Ginobili slaps it away from Odom. They got entangled. And Bennett Salvatore calling the foul. That's the second committed by Ginobili.
That's a frustration foul right there on Ginobili. It's been a struggle for him in this series, and he goes up to try to block the shot. That's a very hard foul, not a flagrant foul. Odom will go to the line and shoot 2.
Manu Ginobili had a sensational series against the Hornets, averaged 21 a game. After a terrific regular season, voted All-NBA third team, which is quite an accomplishment for a player who usually comes off the bench.
Well, you know what? When I think of Game 1 the other night, Marv, that we had in the Western Conference Finals, it reminds me of Game 1 in the first round where the Spurs did to the Phoenix Suns what the Lakers did to them the other night. It looked like the Suns had that Game 1. The Spurs came back and stole that game in double overtime 1. I didn't think the Suns ever recovered from that. Let's see if the Spurs can recover from that tough loss in Game 1.
San Antonio now down by 15. Ken Mauer calls a foul. Offensive foul. It is on Alberto. That's his second. This is a Laker team that went 57-25 in the regular season. Best record in the West, number 1 seed. They finished strong. They won 8 of the last 9 of the regular season. Surpassed by the Hornets for top spot. In the West, the playoffs, they sweep Denver, beat Utah in 6. Odom, rebounded by Duncan. Ginobili for 3. And here come the Lakers. And the Lakers became an elite team after the trade for Pau Gasol, which followed the injury suffered by Andrew Bynum. Beautiful pass from Bryant to Odom. Make it 63-46, LA. Bowen, yes.
The Lakers are swarming defensively, though every possession for the Spurs, Marv, they are having to work so hard to get open shots.
And once again, the Spurs are having their difficulties here in the third quarter. Lakers have hit 7 of 9 from the field. Gasol trying to shake off Duncan, now backs his way. And score. Only 6 points for Gasol. He sat for a while after picking up a second foul early. Lakers now shooting 60% for the game. Duncan's pass picked off. He had no angle. Bryant went down. And then it's intercepted by Duncan. Bryant felt he was fouled. Here comes Parker. Challenges Odom. And Parker hits the floor.
Yeah, it looked like he held his left leg when he went down there. You can just see the fatigue on the Spurs right now.
Odom from Bryant. And a foul.
It's almost like the Lakers have an extra gear right now. The Spurs trying so desperately to get back in the game, but the speed and the quickness of this Laker team, they're moving the ball, they're finding the open areas, everybody's involved. Spurs shooting 37% from the floor, and the Lakers 60%.
Foul committed by Duncan. Well, this July, the #1 cable series of all time returns to TNT. Get a Confession with Kira Sedgwick as the closer. Watch new episodes beginning this July on TNT. We know drama.
You know, you talk about, Marv, the travel, that it's a travel day tomorrow and then a game on Sunday. The Spurs fly out of here tonight. It's a 2-hour time difference. What is it, about a 3-hour flight? So where are they going to get home, about 3 o'clock in the morning? So you think you've got a day between games, but you're getting in at the crack of dawn, and all of a sudden now you're trying to recover and now come out and play. That's how this schedule, I think, so benefits the Lakers. They're the younger team. They have not expended as much energy during the course of the playoffs. They've swept Denver, got rid of Utah in 6, had 4 days rest. So this schedule, to me, really favors the Los Angeles Lakers.
And it should be pointed out the Spurs will not be using the same plane that was supposed to bring them from New Orleans to L.A. Away from the ball, a foul against the Lakers. It is on Radmanovic. So that's 2 on Radmanovic. Second team foul on the Lakers. Greg Popovich staying with Parker and Ginobili in the backcourt. Duncan with Bowen and now Ori up front. Here is Ginobili, a hard drive. It counts in the foul.
That's vintage Manu Ginobili there. You know, Marv, as that play was ready to develop, I'm saying there's no way in the world that Vlade Radmanovic can play at Ginobili if Ginobili's healthy. This time he jab steps him, gets to the baseline, and these are those corkscrew shots, those moves around the basket that he's so known for. That to me was the most assertive move that he's made this entire series.
Foul on Gasol, that's his third. Lakers up by 15. They've led by as many as 18. Odom, yes.
Well, Fisher and Odom, they have really bounced back tonight. Those two guys now combined for 27 points after 4 for 21 in game 1, 12 points. So you put that with Kobe Bryant and the rest of this Laker team, and that's why they are up here, Marv, 68-53. And again, the Spurs working so hard on every possession.
Tim Duncan with the bucket. He's only 6 of 14. He has 12 points. Another big rebounding number, 15 for Duncan. Bryant. It's a rare miss for the Lakers in this third quarter. Here comes Parker with Fisher back. Parker was looking for the opening. Again, the Lakers able to close things up in the paint. Here's Parker. Odom with the block.
Great weak side help, but again, he's not worried about playing Robert Horry. Robert Horry's not shooting the ball well until he makes shots. Lamar Odom's just going to roam.
And the ball back to San Antonio. Coming up on 4 minutes to go in this third quarter.
It's also hard for a guy like Bruce Bowen to play in a game like this. When you get behind, he's so out there for his defense. And when you get behind like that, you need offensive guys, but somebody's got to guard Kobe Bryant. That's why they've got to stay close so that Bowen can be effective.
Gasol right up on Duncan. Here's Horry, rejected. Been a tough night for Robert Horry. He's missed all 4 of his shot attempts.
Now, Lamar Odom's everywhere. We've seen him come over and get a block on Tony Parker from the weak side. This time he helps on Duncan in the middle and recovers and still gets back and blocks the shot. Lamar Odom has been terrific tonight on both ends.
And it's a 24-second violation. Odom with 3 blocks all in this third quarter. Just under 4 minutes to play in the third. The Laker lead is now 15.
Well, the Lakers have come out here after finishing strong in the first half. Kobe Bryant with a hanging drive. Derek Fisher with a sweet jump shot. And his partner Lamar Odom with the dunk. The bench loves.
Rody Kuryath enjoying himself with Sasha Vujacic providing the entertainment. Remember at the start of the season, Sasha referred to himself as the machine. The only problem was at the time he was only hitting shots in practice, and his teammates said, "You got to be kidding me." Now they do respect him as the machine because he's been hitting those shots during games, and that began in the regular season.
And more importantly with that, Marv, he's also playing good defense, and his teammates can now trust him. He's a very free-spirited guy, and that's okay as long as your teammates can trust you when it counts.
Sasha very fortunate to recapture as Jacques Water just came on, got a piece of it. Gasol feeling for Duncan. Nice backdoor pass, but Vujacic could not finish. The Lakers with a 68-53 lead. Just under 3.5 to play in this third quarter. Marv Albert with Doug Collins and Craig Sager. It's game 2 of the Western Conference Finals. Lakers trying to go up 2-zip. Bowen for 3. Yes.
You can see what Greg Popovich has done. He's come in now with Jacques Vaughn. He's going to get up now that Farmar's in the game. Pressure a little bit. Hopefully buy some minutes for Tony Parker. Now, if they can get this under single digits, maybe you got to rest at Tony Parker. You can make a little bit of a run in the fourth.
Horry defending on Odom. And that's an offensive foul. That was well played by Horry.
The one thing the Lakers don't want to do is lose their focus. See the replay there, and Robert Horry read the play nicely. He knows that Odom is a lefty. He gets over on that left hand, but you don't want to lose your focus here and let the Spurs back in this game.
Nice ball fake by Ginobili, and then it's deflected out. Last touched by the Spurs. But Mono very active here in the third quarter.
Yeah, he's much better in this third quarter than he was to start the game tonight. I don't know if that ankle's loosening a little bit or if he's just absolutely saying, you know what, it doesn't matter. I'm going to throw myself around.
Foul committed by Vaughn. Vaughn making contact with Farmar. Gasol, Odom, Bryant up front. Farmar, Vujacic in the backcourt. Bowen coming over to help, and the steal, but a foul. It is on Duncan.
When you play in that triangle offense, your big man has to be a guy who can post and be a good passer and read cutters. And Gasol does that very well. That's why he's been able to make this smooth transition to this offense, because it's built for a big man who can catch that ball in the post and not only score, but find the cutters out of that triangle and make nice passes. And Gasol does a nice job with that.
That foul puts San Antonio over the foul limit. National coverage of the NBA playoffs continues tomorrow on ABC Game 3 of the Celtics and the Pistons starting at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. Series all tied at 1. Last night, Rip Hamilton bouncing back from that subpar Game 1 putting up 25 points. Chauncey Billups also with a turnaround in his second game back. Sunday here on TNT, Game 3 of the Western Conference Finals. Lakers and Spurs with coverage beginning 8 o'clock Eastern Time. And then Monday on ESPN, Game 4 of the Celtics and the Pistons. Ginobili looking to post. Shot clock to 5. Defensive 3-second violation is called, and the basket will not count.
That's that one-man zone that I was talking about. The Lamar Odom's on the weak side of the floor, and what he's doing is hedging to the middle. He wants Gasol to turn Duncan that way, and he will step up then and make a late trap on him in the lane and force Duncan to make a play over two big guys.
Ginobili shoots the technical, 86% free throw shooter.
So the end of this quarter is important for the Lakers and the Spurs, but for the Lakers, you look at it, they would like to have a nice cushion to rest Kobe. Remember the other night they didn't rest him the normal 4 minutes they do to start the fourth period because they were behind. The Spurs would like to cut into the lead so when he rests, maybe they can even push into it more.
Yes, Phil Jackson changing the rotation. Odom with a nice box out. The Laker lead is 13. Vujacic fires a 3. Kept alive by Odom. Bryant backs to three-point territory. Minute and a half left in the third quarter. Nice fake by Ginobili. Gives it back to Ori for 3.
Not even close.
And Gasol protects from Ginobili.
Now you've got Farmer out on the floor roaming off of Jacques Vaughn to help in the post, and you've got Lamar Odom. So basically the Spurs are playing 3-on-5.
Odom changed his mind. Gasol. Yes. So Pau Gasol with 10 points. Ginobili with 7 points, all here in the third. Vaughn. And that's the shot the Lakers want to see.
A long two-point shot is exactly the shot the Lakers want to see.
Gasol to Odom. Wasn't pretty, but he did get the ball on a hop to Lamar Odom, who now has 18 points, 11 of the 18 in this third quarter.
This Lamar Odom that we saw against Utah, he struggled against Denver, had a brilliant series against the Utah Jazz where his quickness really bothered Boozer and Okoro.
Just a fraction of a second differential here between the game clock and shot clock. Ginobili. Gasol looking to draw attention, thought he was fouled, but that's the end of the third quarter. Here at Staples, the Lakers pulled away. They lead 74-57. Fourth quarter getting underway. Lakers in possession. There is Turiaf who just checked back in. And again, you can see another poor road third quarter by the Spurs, outscored 28-20, and the Lakers went on a 20-4 run for the final minutes of the first half. Craig Sager and Phil Jackson talking about that a moment ago. That following the 37 all-time. Here is Udoka just came back on, rebounded by Turiaf.
We talk about the end of the third quarter. San Antonio cut the lead to 12. They had no field goals that last 3 minutes when the Lakers pushed it back to 17.
Odom posting on Udoka.
Just a mismatch. He's just not big enough. He's got strength. We saw Odom the other night against Michael Finley down in the post. He tied the game on a play like that. So Lamar Odom, a nightmare matchup for the Spurs.
Udoka about 6'5", and Odom at 6'10". Odom now 20 points. Udoka open for 3. 76-60 Lakers. Trying to make a 2 out of 2 here at home following that sensational comeback, down by as many as 20 beating the Spurs in game 1. Here's Farmar getting inside. In fact, that was the greatest Lakers postseason comeback since they were down by 20 in the second quarter, game 4 of the Western Conference Finals, and then beat Sacramento on Robert Horry's buzzer-beating 3. It is deflected out. Last touch by the Spurs.
The Lakers are just one step quicker in every phase of the game tonight, whether it be getting to the boards, getting in passing lanes. They're crisper with their offense. And you could see that rest has paid dividends for them. They were a little bit, they were fresh but flat, I thought, in game 1. Tonight they have a great edge.
And that was a concern back in game 1 of Phil Jackson. Did not have the edge in the first half, and then certainly turned it up in the second half. There's Walton from downtown. Rebounded by Udoka. Let's check in with Craig.
Marv, you're talking about that comeback, the biggest one since the one 4 years ago against Sacramento. I talked to Derek Fisher. He said actually he thought this one was even bigger because that team, he said, was a championship team that knew they could come back from deficits like this. He thought that this was a bigger one. There's the big 3 by Farmar because it taught him something, as Ernie Johnson alluded to at halftime. According to Derek Fisher, this team now can feel like they have a little hair in their chest, and yes, they too can win it all this year and be a championship team.
And this now a very loose Laker team. They've extended to a 21-point lead early in this fourth quarter. Udoka rejected by Kurian, and here comes Farmar. From the angle. Rebounded by Kurian.
I think you're getting ready to see Greg Popovich start getting ready for game 3 here tonight. Damon Stoudemire coming in. I'm sure Tony Parker is going to go to the bench. I got to hope that they can get some rest and find some answers back in San Antonio. It's been all LA here tonight.
Back at Staples, 3 minutes gone by in the fourth quarter. Lakers have jumped in front now by 21. A misty night here in Southern California. Once again, our cameras checking out the crowd. There's Hall of Famer Frank Robinson. Another Hall of Famer, Dave Winfield. And Flea of the Red Hot Chili Peppers is on hand for game 1. There's Paula Abdul, one-time Laker girl. And this is Tony Parker, you will enjoy it, telling her friend, this is not going well.
Yeah, this is not what we bargained for when we came to L.A. for these 2 games, but the Spurs have to bank on the fact they've been much better at home, averaging over 100-something points a game at home in the playoffs where they are 6-0, and they're going to need some home cooking against this Laker team that's playing with great confidence and energy.
Damon Stoudemire, who just came on, has not played much in the playoffs. And it is looked like it was going to be a 24-second violation. Just did hit the rim. Stoudemire. Rebound is captured by Walton. The Spurs at home during the regular season won 34 of 41 games, tied for second-best home record in the West. Utah, at the best, they won 37 of 41. Kobe Bryant is back, throwing the jab step and then hits.
It's curious. Normally, Phil Jackson would not put him back in the game with a 23-point lead. Let's see how long Kobe plays out there in this game with this 23-point lead in the fourth quarter.
And Greg Popovich has emptied the bench. He has Stoudemire and Barry at the guards. Barry lost it. Here's Vujacic, give and go with Farmar, and that'll count. It's a goaltend.
This is what they've done in the playoffs, Marvin. Look at the difference at home. They average 15 more points a game at home. Look at the opponent's points. Look at the shooting. They've really struggled on the road in the playoffs. They're going to be in 2-6 after tonight. And they are going to have to find a way to get home and get refreshed in a hurry.
And a different philosophy shown here tonight by Kobe Bryant, who came out shooting. Farmar, who has been on fire. He now has 12 points, 10 of the 12 here in the fourth quarter as he knocked down a three.
What a difference a series makes for Farmar. Against Denver, he got discouraged against Allen Iverson, who was going at him on the dribble as Stoudemire misses the jumper. Against Utah, Darren Williams went at him, really struggled. The last couple games of that series played better, played very well the first two games here in the Western Conference Finals.
Vujacic for three, rebounded by Walton. Looking to keep it alive, cannot. Udoka with the lead for Barry. 88-62 Lakers.
This is when you're the Spurs and you just want to have a running clock the rest of the game. Just keep the clock moving and get out of here. There's some long faces over on that Spurs bench, Marv. Remember now, this is the defending champions. This is a very proud group of men. And you see the look of determination on Tim Duncan and Tony Parker and Ginobili. I mean, these guys aren't going to go away easily. And it's going to be an interesting game 3 in San Antonio.
San Antonio team trying to do it back-to-back for the first time. They win 56 games in the regular season. Their 9th straight 50-plus win season. They've won 4 titles the last 9 years. Walton not able to hit. Stoudemire on it. David Stoudemire signed during the course of the regular season as a free agent. Here's Vaughn. Nowhere to go, and lost it.
I think they were hoping when they signed Damon Stoudemire, one thing they like out of their point guard is the ability to make shots with all those double teams that you see and all the penetrations of Ginobili and Parker. And Damon Stoudemire just has not found his way here with the San Antonio team.
Started the season with Memphis, originally a first-round pick of Toronto. Rookie of the year with the Raptors. Spent some time with Portland, then Memphis, now San Antonio. And a foul is called on Barry. Just under 6 to go in this fourth quarter. It has been all Lakers. They are up 88-62, headed to the 2-0 lead in this best-of-7 Western Conference Final. Let's take a look at our Bud Light Lime around the league. Last night, the Pistons heated up their Eastern Conference Finals series with the Celtics at a game apiece with the 103-97 win. Chauncey Billups finishing with 19 points. Rip Hamilton with 25 for the Celtics. Their first loss at home since late March. And now they have to win on the road.
Yeah, the security blanket is gone now. The fact that you say you don't have to win on the road, now you do. So now we're going to see under pressure that Boston Celtic team that was so great on the road all season long. Can they find a win in the Palace? If not, Detroit will move on.
Vujacic off the mark. Trevor Ariza has checked in. He has made his return, making it back from a broken bone in his right foot. Here's Barry open for 3. And it's kept alive by Vaughn, but he got hit, looks like, in the eye. And a reach and foul is called on Vujacic.
One of my keys to the game was same script, different ending. Well, tonight, Marv, if you go back to game 1, when the Spurs were up 20, they were outscored 44-20 in the last 17-plus minutes of that game. Tonight, in the last 20-plus minutes, since the game was tied, they've been outscored 51-25.
Udoka getting it to Thomas. We come up on 5 minutes to play in this fourth quarter. Trevor Ariza suffered that broken foot in a practice in late January and hits on his first attempt.
This is good minutes for Ariza. Phil Jackson can get him out there now, get him back to playing. So if they need him in San Antonio to guard Ginobili, or they even talked about maybe playing him on Parker, using a bigger guy on Tony Parker if they need him. That's why these minutes are big for Ariza.
Shot clock to 5. Down to 2. Stoudemire. And here's the long pass intended for Turiaf. Stoudemire looking like a defensive back, able to haul it in. Barry for 3. Yes. But we have hit garbage time. In fact, we have been in this particular sequence for some time in the second half. San Antonio Spurs, as Walton tried to get it to Ariza off that lob. The Spurs are certainly looking forward to making the return back to the River City, where, as we mentioned, they were very successful at home during the regular season at 34-7. We will have Game 3 from San Antonio Sunday night. Right here, TNT, 8:30 Eastern Time. Barry looked to make a move on Vujacic. And a foul is caught on Barry. Let's go to Craig Sager.
Well, Marv, you keep mentioning how the Spurs can't wait to get home, and yes, you are right. They will not be flying that plane that brought them here. They had the mechanical problems where they spent 11 hours on the tarmac. In fact, that 737 has been grounded for good. The carrier who brought them here, Champions Air, is going out of business at the end of the month. And they'll be flying home thanks to Donnie Walsh, the new president of the New York Knicks. He has sent their team chartered plane here to pick up the Spurs, take them home, and he said, you guys can have it for the rest of the series. So Donnie renewing friendships in his new position.
Trying to finagle for a trade,
Exactly.
Donnie Walsh or something. You know, it's like these guys, there's always, Donnie's a great guy, but we have to keep our eye on the offseason. Any moves between the Spurs and the Knicks.
We're coming up on 3 minutes to go in this fourth quarter. Another Spurs turnover. Here's Farmar trying to get it to Ariza, but broken up by Barry, and then batted out of bounds.
You know, the one thing if you're the Lakers, you don't want to start making all these circus plays and things like that. I mean, they've won this game. You don't want to rub San Antonio's nose into it any more than it is tonight. You want to make this game and play it the right way to finish. There's still a lot of games to be played in this series, Marv.
And the Spurs also will look back at the series against the New Orleans Hornets, where they lost the first 2 games in New Orleans and then were able to come back to win that set in 7.
Well, we're going to find out Sunday night. Is this going to be a series, or are the Lakers that much better than the Spurs right now? That's going to be a very interesting game.
Thomas on the foul, grabbing Turiaf. We're down to 2:39 remaining in this fourth quarter. It is a Laker blowout over the Spurs. All right, Doug, time now for the U.S. Army strong performance of the night.
And Derek Fisher and Lamar Odom, 2 of the guys we talked about coming off very subpar games. Fisher with that little pull-up jumper. Odom has been everywhere. He's been slashing, cutting, blocking shots, doing it all on both ends. And it's a hanging drive over Tim Duncan. And these 2 guys have been terrific tonight, Mark. 20 points for Lamar Odom, Fisher with 11. So 31 points tonight after a very quiet 12 points combined in Game 1, where they were 4 for 21.
For more U.S. Army strong performances, log on to TNT Overtime at NBA.com. Lakers are shooting 54% for the game. The Spurs only 34% shooting 28 of 82. I did enjoy the moment at halftime when we walked back to, as they say, the green room, our production headquarters, and we happened to pass a group of the Spurs coaches, and I hear Greg Popovich yell out to you as you pass by, Doug, we need a shooter. Are you available?
I told him, I said, Pop, you wouldn't like me. I didn't guard, and when I was healthy, I sure can't guard now. And he said, well, if you can make a shot, we'll take you. So that's how frustrating it's been for Greg Popovich. We look at these shooting numbers tonight, 34%, 6 of 20 from the three-point line. That's a follow-up of 5 for 20, so they're 11 for 40 from the three-point line. It's just been a tough time here for the Spurs. And if you look at the second half of Game 1, they scored 34 points. Here tonight in the second half, they have 30. I mean, so it has been a struggle for them. And as the game has gone on, they have worn down, and the Lakers have gotten stronger.
DJ Benga has come on for the Lakers, replacing Rudy Turiaf. So both teams using the entire roster. Ariza with the rebound. Trevor Ariza making his return. He was acquired from the Magic in that deal for Brian Cook and Maurice Evans. Phil Jackson really likes his defensive skills. Thomas poking it away from Benga.
Benga says, come get the ball. This is not my game here in the post.
Shot clock down to 4 and a foul. It is on Vaughn. 17 San Antonio over the foul limit. Let's revisit tonight's Collins Keys presented by Heineken Light.
Well, Mark, we said same script, different ending for the Spurs. That has not been the case. We talked about the disastrous ending tonight. It's been 55-30 since it was tied. Ginobili, they were hoping for an energy surge off the bench. That did not happen. Kobe feeling the game. Came out in that third quarter, recognizing they wanted to get off a good start. They did, 9-4 start. A lot of that because of Kobe. And then we talked about the brilliant bounce back of Odom and Fisher tonight. Those guys combined and what they did here tonight. So this has been since the 37-all mark of the first half, it's been LA dominance all the way.
It's been a perfect game for the Lakers.
And you know what? The Spurs almost have to play a perfect game to beat them because they have no margin of error, Mark. When you struggle to score, you can play great defense, as we see Vaughn here with the knockdown jump shot. But when you put so much pressure on your defense, the whole team's down like they do against the Lakers, it takes so much out of your offensive game to try to make shots.
If you're Phil Jackson, can you find anything that you're unhappy with in this kind of performance?
You know what, it would be hard. And, Phil is obviously a guy who's won 9 championships, so he'll know exactly what buttons to push as Venga knocks down the jump shot. But Phil is a master at knowing what to do with his team, and he likes to take those video clips and put them into the movies and the films to keep his team's attention. So it'll be interesting to see what he will have prepared before Game 3.
Kobe Bryant, a solid performance, 22 points, 10 of 17, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. You mentioned Lamar Odom, 20 points, 12 rebounds, 4 block shots. Fisher, 11 points on 4 or 5 as Kurt Thomas is able to hit. Pau Gasol got off slowly after picking up the 2 early fouls, but he finishes up with 10 points, 7 rebounds. Not much to say about the Spurs. Tony Parker, 13 points, 4 assists. Tim Duncan had 12 points, 16 rebounds, taking only 1 shot in the second half. Let's check in with Craig Sager.
Well, Marvin, you're talking about this being a perfect game for the Lakers. We documented the comeback from 20 points the other night in the first game of the series, but this will be the 3rd time in the last 4 playoff games for the Lakers that they have led from start to finish. Never trailed in 3 of the last 4 playoff games, a stat that's pretty unheard of in the playoffs.
97-71 is the end result of that. As time is running out, as the Spurs and Lakers look to Game 3 in the Alamo City on Sunday night here on TNT, 8:30 start Eastern Time. I'd like to thank our producer, Scooter Bertino, director Renato Lowe, associate directors Rodney Vaughn and Tom Heitz, production assistants Jeff Parrish and Darryl Bernardo, statistician Paul Evans, and thanks to our entire crew there. Here's a great job. Final seconds. And that's a 3-pointer for Luke Walton. 101-71. That's the final.
Marv, as we go to San Antonio for the Spurs to score and be able to get to 95 points, if Parker, Duncan, and Ginobili don't get 65-70, I don't know that there's another 30-35 points out there off that team. So it's going to be very interesting to see if those 3 guys can go home and throw up some big numbers to get this series back to 2-1.